Today, many companies like ours face challenges to more effectively manage the operation of warehouses, item-level inventory tracking, and order processing and distribution. What would you think about a solution where we could print a label and apply it to our materials, and then we could use that label to track those materials through our materials management processes, automate our everyday transactions like issues and returns, and obtain total inventory values at the press of a button? This is possible with RFID technology. We're going to cover why we think this would be a perfect fit to effectively and efficiently streamline the processes within our material management organization. In this presentation, we will cover three main topics. We'll provide an overview of RFID technology, consider how it will impact our organization, and discuss the future of the technology. We will begin with an overview. One of the first questions to answer is, what is RFID? RFID, or radio frequency identification, is not a new technology. However, developments within the industry have propelled it as an emerging technology for materials management. RFID is a wireless technology that uses radio frequency electromagnetic fields to transmit data to automatically identify and track tags that are attached to objects. Tags contain electronically stored information. Some tags have a power source that enables it to be read, and in some cases they collect energy from the transmitted electromagnetic field and then act as a transponder to emit microwaves or UHF radio waves. RFID technology is available in different systems that are classified by the type of tag and reader they require. They are typically either active or passive type systems comprised of the corresponding tags and readers. After covering what RFID is, the next question is, what type of RFID system would we use? For our materials management solution, we would implement an active reader passive tag system along with integration into our ERP system. An active reader passive tag, or ARPT system, has an active reader which transmits interrogator signals and then receives authentication replies from passive tags. Readers can be set in a fixed location to read a specific area and can cover a highly targeted reading area to monitor when the tags go in and out of the area. Developments in industry standards and new technology that make more cost-effective tags and reader systems have enabled the RFID system to be a viable option to more effectively manage material. An RFID system is also able to be integrated with an ERP system to automate transactions such as issues and returns, and enables cost savings by automating these processes versus manual inputs being made. Now that we have learned more about RFID technology, we will apply it to our materials management process. This process can be intensive and currently depends on efficient business processes. It is also dependent on effective use of the ERP system. Let us first outline the current process, and we will then show how RFID will change the process. Our materials management process begins within the warehouse. The warehouse personnel must manage the material in inventory and create an issue transaction in the ERP system when material is requested. The warehouse personnel then issue the material for use, and the business personnel use the material. If all the materials are used, then that part of the process is complete. If there is unused material, it must be returned to the warehouse. The warehouse personnel then must create a return transaction in the ERP system and return the material to inventory. This material is then returned to inventory where it may be utilized in the future where it is needed. Another part of the process is replenishment of used inventory. The buyer must run through the inventory replenishment process. The buyer will then issue purchase orders for required inventory, and the supplier will be expected to provide the material. The warehouse personnel must receive the material, add it to inventory within the ERP system, and then place it within the warehouse. At regular intervals, accounting will come through and perform an inventory count to verify inventory levels are accurate. This is a complete process that meets our internal requirements, but it involves coordination across 5 different roles, is labor intensive, and leaves a lot of room for human error. Complementing our organization's current ERP system with an RFID system will allow for enhanced material tracking and more effective inventory counts. An active reader, passive tag RFID system integrated with our existing ERP system will take several manual processes and automate them to save time and resources. Initially, an RFID tag would have to be printed and applied to all the material in our warehouse, but new material added to the warehouse would receive a tag as part of the new process. We will now outline this new process. We'll also begin this look at our proposed new materials management process within the warehouse. The warehouse personnel will manage the material and inventory and will issue it when necessary. Upon its issue, the RFID tag will automatically create an issue transaction in the ERP system when it leaves the warehouse. The material is used by the business personnel. If the material is used, then this part of the process is complete. If there is unused material, then it will be returned to the warehouse. Instead of having to manually track this information, the RFID will automatically update the ERP system by creating an automated return transaction when material is returned to the warehouse. The buyer will still run the inventory replenishment process and will issue purchase orders for required inventory. The supplier will fulfill the purchase order. Once the warehouse receives the material, they will print and apply the RFID tag. This tag will automatically update the ERP system to add the material to inventory when the material is placed in the warehouse. When accounting requests an inventory count, the RFID system will be used to generate an automated inventory count. The RFID system will count all of the RFID tags in the warehouse and produce a report showing the inventory level. This proposed process will also meet our internal requirements, but it introduces increased efficiencies and involves less coordination across the different roles. By automating transactions within the ERP system, the proposed process removes much of the labor-intensive elements and removes most of the potential for human error. Let's look closer at the influence of RFID technology and classify them as positive or negative impacts. The positive impacts for this business will include: we will see a reduction in warehouseman labor hours for manual data entry of issues, returns, and other transactions. Transactions will occur without the need for warehouse personnel to perform data entry. RFID system will monitor the data and perform transactions electronically. The ERP system to RFID interface will send data from the ERP system to the RFID system, and completed transactions will be sent back to the ERP system. Using RFID allows warehousemen to have visibility to our entire inventory at any time. This provides the capability for the warehouse personnel to locate misplaced material. Accounting will have the capability to instantly obtain inventory counts for all material. As we discussed, this reduces or eliminates the time needed to complete required physical inventory counts. Lost material will be reduced or eliminated and will prevent buyers from issuing purchase orders for material unnecessarily. Now let's look at the possible negative impacts on our organization. Potential for lowered morale within workforce due to reduced workload. Anticipate reduction in warehouse personnel due to fewer transactions needed to be entered and less time spent searching for misplaced materials. Although the cost for implementing an RFID system has become more economical, there is still a cost to implement, and there will still be additional cost of IT resources to support that RFID system. There will be a greater reliance on system integration. Inventory accuracy will be based on automated process versus manual process. If there is a system issue or issue with system integrations, there could be a negative impact on our operations. There are both positive and negative impacts from implementing RFID technology within our materials management process, but the positive benefits our company would see in process efficiencies would far outweigh the negatives. Now, after reviewing the positive and negative impacts, let's now look at how the implementation of RFID will impact the people and process of our organization. Our warehouse personnel will be the first ones affected by the implementation of RFID. The external personnel affected will include the accounting group, the buyer, the business, and the supplier. The processes that will change include the internal RFID system and the ERP system and associated transactions. The steps necessary to complete these processes will decrease, leading to greater efficiency. The external processes affected will be the accounting inventory, which will no longer be manual, and the business work order system will also be impacted. As we lay out our implementation plan for this proposed new process, we will need to take into account each of the above impacts as we define our change management effort. As we have outlined, the positive impacts of utilizing RFID technology are very promising and the future is bright. RFID technology continues to evolve, and this evolution will bring the following several key improvements. Greater reliability. Greater reliability means the tags themselves and the scanning equipment necessary to deploy an RFID system have a lower margin of error, leading to near perfect inventory management, leading to cost savings. Increased memory. With increased memory comes increased capabilities. As RFID tags move beyond simple identifiers, the ability is there to add more functions, database identifiers, historical data, and even entire databases, thus reducing back-end requirements. Integration across other technologies. RFID technology has great promise when combined with additional technology. GSM cellular communications can be combined with RFIDs to almost infinitely extend the effective range of an individual RFID, or it can be deployed with wireless readers to bring local tracking of basic RFIDs to the next level. GSM cellular communications can instantly communicate and upload location and quantity data to the cloud for real-time evaluation, and actions can be taken sooner. As the technology and manufacturing of RFID equipment evolves and production gets cheaper, RFID becomes a more cost-effective solution. This will help to reduce overhead and take cost out of the business. After we implement RFID technology, we will be able to manage and track our workforce more effectively, leading to improvements in employee scheduling and potentially reducing direct labor costs. Use active tags to track material in transit to job sites, ensure it gets there on time, or address issues that may come up to keep material shortages and productivity time loss to a minimum. Create a virtual warehouse at a temporary warehouse location or job site where material can be stored or staged for specific projects. Transportation costs can be kept lower, and the material would be able to be tracked more accurately and counted for as inventory where required. Track materials as they become company assets and allow operations to manage an asset over its useful life. By tracking its location, operations can establish routine maintenance schedules in real time and more effectively manage the asset. To recap what we've covered so far, RFID, or radio frequency identification, is not a new technology. However, developments within the industry have propelled it as an emerging technology for materials management. Complementing our organization's current ERP system with an RFID system will allow for enhanced material tracking and more effective inventory counts. RFID will take several manual processes and automate them to save time and resources. By implementing this technology, our company will be in a position to benefit from additional future RFID projects that will allow for greater efficiencies. Implementing the RFID technology will provide a solution to the challenges we face to more effectively manage our operations of warehouses, item-level inventory tracking, and order processing and distribution. RFID technology will be a perfect fit to effectively and efficiently streamline the processes within our material management organization. With your approval, We will begin preparing a request for proposal to obtain pricing for this new RFID system. Thank you for your time today.